From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang, and here are the news. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. enjoined Filipinos to embody the spirit of solidarity and contribute to development as he joins the nation in welcoming the new year. Marcos said every new beginning is a time for reflection on past accomplishments, to move forward with the lessons learned, and to reinforce on the unity forged as a people. The president said in his message released on Sunday that as a nation, we bid farewell to the challenges and triumphs of the past year and embrace a new dawn of opportunity and hope that heralds another fresh start for all. He added that as we welcome 2024 with great optimism, he calls upon every Filipino from every corner of the world to contribute to the future of our beloved motherland. The chief executive encouraged everyone to embody the spirit of solidarity through acts of kindness, volunteerism, and compassion, knowing that each of us is a catalyst for our country's meaningful social transformation. President Marcos also committed to strengthen bonds and charter a new roadmap for tomorrow. He then encouraged Filipinos to let the dream of a revitalized Philippines, a bagong Pilipinas o New Philippines guide our every endeavor as we bring forth peace, progress, and prosperity for all. Meanwhile, a video of Marcos's New Year's message was uploaded through Radio Television Malacañang. Here is the entirety of the President's message.
Mga kababayan, nakikiisa ako sa bawat pamilyang Pilipino na masayang nagtitipon ngayon sa pagsalubong ng bagong taon. Nakikisama ako sa bawat isa sa inyo na mataimtim na nananalangin na harinawa ang darating na mga araw ay mapuno ng pag-asa na hatid ng kasaganahan para sa lahat. Kabilang ako sa mga mahigpit na nananampalataya sa ating kakayahan at sa kabutihan ng may kapal, na lahat ng ating mga pinapangarap ay sana matupad. Tonight, as friends and family gather, our family joins yours in welcoming a peaceful and prosperous new year. We look back to the past year, pleased with what we have done. We look forward to the new year with a pledge to build better and more. We have set high hopes for the days ahead, and we know that these can only be achieved with hard work. Bagong taon, bagong pag-asa, at bagong panata na anuman ang mga balakid na haharapin ay sama-sama nating lalagpasan. No doubt, the coming year will bring its fair share of new challenges. But these we have weathered before, like the great tribulations our forefathers defeated. And as the proud inheritors of this indefatigable spirit, we too shall overcome. Ang lahi ni Rizal Bonifacio Mabini ay hindi basta magpapalupig. This is a land of heroes, past and present. The hard-fought gains of 2023 have prepared us for whatever difficulties 2024 will present. Batid ko na ang pag-unlad ay hindi dapat naririnig lamang sa talumpati o mga katagang nababasa. Nararamdaman din dapat ng marami. And there are other achievements not captured by headline economic barometers. We built 33 additional specialty centers, over 2,000 classrooms, and 7 additional cold chain facilities. We facilitated investments in renewable energy through the award of renewable energy contracts with a total potential capacity of around 121,000 megawatts. We also completed 8 water supply projects with 147 additional water projects being implemented in preparation for next year. We will continue to purge government of rules that slow the delivery of public services because when projects get delayed, progress is denied our people. And this commitment to efficiency and service will extend to documents and licenses because service delayed is also service denied. But not all public projects, however, are sunk into the ground. A great bulk of this are assistances to our brothers and sisters who are facing immense challenges in life. But TUPAD, IX, MAIP, and other programs of the government are not just safety nets that catch those who fell into hard times. They are the scaffolds upon which one can climb from where they find themselves now. This is the principle behind the free college program and its many subsets of scholarships, from new doctors to the students whom we prepared for their future careers in the field of science and technology, engineering, mathematics, and other professions. This is a driving force behind livelihood grants and product incubation assistance. They serve as government equity to our skilled and talented young people so their dreams will turn into reality. This is the reason why we continue to give support to our farmers, from seedlings to fertilizers to fuel, because their sweat alone should not nurture the crops they grow in feeding the nation. Our social programs provide welfare armor to the vulnerable, but they also provide the means for them to overcome the very state that they find themselves in. Thus, most ayudas are not a type of permanent welfare because we do not promote a life of dependency. Kaya nga, ang pangunahin at tamang konsepto ay pantawid, hindi palagian. Ang epektibong ayuda ay hindi binuburo ang tao sa kahirapan. The objective is to graduate from poverty. Sa pagsapit ng bagong taon, ang bawat Pilipino ay mayroong New Year's resolution o pangakong pagbabago sa kanilang buhay. Ang New Year's resolution ng inyong pamahalaan ay ang puspusang pagsisikap upang maggawad ng mahusay at tapat na serbisyo na susi ng pagpaganda ng buhay nating lahat. Let us not forget that great things are always possible, so long as we keep the faith in each other, in our nation, and in God. And as long as values that bind us keep us united in our collective pursuit of shared progress, we will succeed. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas. Manigong bagong taon po sa ating lahat.
And you just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has institutionalized the recovery, reconstruction, and rehabilitation efforts in Marawi City and streamlined the functions of concerned agencies to hasten the implementation of programs in the city and other affected areas. Under Administrative Order or AO14 signed by Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin on December 22 by order of the President, all government agencies involved in the recovery, reconstruction, and rehabilitation efforts in Marawi City are directed to expedite and ensure the completion of the projects and activities in coordination with the concerned local government units. The Department of the Interior and Local Government is directed to maintain peace and order in Marawi City and other affected localities, while the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development is ordered to facilitate and oversee the completion of housing projects for the affected residents. The AO tasked the Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH to coordinate the complete restoration of public utilities such as water and electricity, as well as the repair and reconstruction of public buildings and infrastructure. The Department of Health and the Department of Social Welfare and Development are designated to ensure the health, sanitation, food, and other basic needs of residents, while the Department of Trade and Industry is mandated to provide an environment conducive to the revival of business and livelihood activities. AO14 also notes the supervisory role of Task Force Bangon Marawi or TFBM created under AO3 issued in 2017 as amended by AO9, issued in the same year. The TFBM is in charge of overseeing the progress and completion of several programs and activities under the Bangon Marawi Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program. The AO, however, emphasizes that while the TFBM performs a supervisory role such as coordination and monitoring activities, it is still the government agencies that execute the projects needed for the recovery, reconstruction, and rehabilitation of Marawi. The arrangement, according to AO 14, has caused delays due to redundant and superfluous or fluous bureaucratic layers in the national government. AO 14 orders the TFBM to wind up its operations on December 31, 2023 and shall be deemed functus officio by December 31, 2024. As part of winding down its operations, the TFBM is mandated to facilitate the reversion to the Office of the President or OP of the remaining balance of the TFBM Trust Fund, which was created through a Memorandum of Agreement on April 13, 2018 between the two offices. The TFBM is also directed to conduct an inventory of its assets and properties and ensure proper accounting and turnover of the funds, settle its outstanding obligations, and submit a consolidated audited report of disbursements to the OP on or before March 31, 2024 and submit a comprehensive transition report to the President. AO 14 also repeals AOs 3 and 9 issued in 2017 and all other orders, rules, and regulations and issuances or parts of the orders that serve as the basis for the creation of the TFBM that are inconsistent with the provisions of the new AO. To accelerate the reconstruction and recovery efforts in the city of Marawi, AO 14 emphasizes the need to rationalize the functions of government agencies to promote efficiency and organizational coherence in the bureaucracy consistent with right-sizing policy. It added that to ensure institutional stability, it is imperative to institutionalize and strengthen the functions of implementing government agencies involved in the reconstruction and rehabilitation efforts in the city of Marawi and other affected localities. Improving bureaucratic efficiency is one of the key pillars of the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028 and the 8-point socio-economic agenda of the Marcos administration. Malacañang has yet to release a copy of AO 14, which takes effect immediately upon publication in the official gazette.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. urged Filipinos to emulate Dr. Jose Rizal's genuine love for the Philippines by having a deep and personal sense of ownership of their motherland and future. Marcos said in his message for this year's or for last year's commemoration of Rizal Day that on the 127th anniversary of Rizal's martyrdom, he enjoins all the Filipinos to keep emulating the timeless values we can learn from the hero's life and works. The president also called on everyone to let the genuine love for the country that Rizal lived out and later died for propel us to have a deep and personal sense of ownership for our land and our future. Marcos added that more than a century after Rizal's demise and heroism, his influence continues to be felt in a world that is still afflicted by greed, oppression, and injustice in various forms. The president then called on everyone to strive to walk with the same purpose, passion, and nationalism to overcome all the challenges and achieve a brighter tomorrow. He noted that with our meaningful commemoration, may the ideals and spirit of Rizal live on as we fully realize the Philippines that he and his contemporaries fought or his contemporaries fought hard for. Marcos emphasized that Rizal's martyrdom consolidated the Philippine independence movement, which gave rise to the birth of the nation. He added that while Rizal's sacrifice was the ultimate expression of his patriotism, the national hero's work started even before that fateful day on the field of Bagong Bayan. It is noted that Marcos led the ceremony for the 127th anniversary of Rizal's martyrdom at the Rizal Park in the city of Manila on Saturday morning. He was accompanied by his wife, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and their children, Ilocos Norte 1st District Representative Ferdinand Alexander, William Vincent, and Joseph Simon. Marcos offered a wreath at the Rizal National Monument after the simultaneous flag-raising ceremony across various historical sites nationwide. Last year's theme for the commemorative rites is Rizal, Pundasyon ng Kahapon, Isinasabuhay Ngayon. The National Historical Commission of the Philippines, or NHCP, in collaboration with various government agencies, organized several activities in honor of Rizal. Rizal was executed at 7 in the morning on December 30, 1896 by a firing squad at Bagong Bayan, now Rizal Park, on orders of the Spanish colonial government for the crime of rebellion after the Philippine Revolution broke out, mainly inspired by his writings. On December 20, 1898, then-President Emilio Aguinaldo issued a decree declaring December 30 as a day of national mourning for Rizal and other patriots who died during the Spanish rule. The Philippine Commission in 1902 enacted a law declaring December 30 as Rizal Day, making it an official holiday.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, has condemned North Korea's ballistic missile launch last month. The DFA said in a statement that the Philippines condemns the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or DPRK's launch of a ballistic missile on December 18, 2023. It added DPRK's action provokes tension and undermines economic progress, peace, and stability in the Korean Peninsula and in the Indo-Pacific region. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. had earlier joined the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, in condemning North Korea's act. North Korea fired a long-range ballistic missile which fell into the sea west of Hokkaido, according to Japan's Coast Guard.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, the Philippine Department of Agriculture, or DA, has improved and constructed about 740 kilometers of irrigation canals as of November of last year to ease the impact of El Nino on farmers. In a news release, Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tiu Laurel Jr. said the DA targets to rehabilitate 843 kilometers of irrigation canals to distribute water more effectively and efficiently to farmlands. He noted that 40 units of small-scale irrigation systems covering 1,477.5 hectares have also been repaired in addition to these canals. The DA, along with other agencies comprising the Interagency Task Force for El Nino, has also undertaken cloud seeding, dispersal of farm animals, and provision of alternative livelihoods to farmers and fishermen, implementation of low water use technology for rice farming, and quick turnaround strategy. Meanwhile, the DA's Bureau of Soil and Water Management has requested a total of 112 million pesos for cloud seeding operations for 2024 to supplement the water requirement for standing crops during periods of low rainfall. cloud seeding operations will be implemented in collaboration with the Department of Science and Technology and the Department of National Defense. These agencies will provide information for optimum cloud seeding operations, including provision of aircraft, respectively. The DA is set to distribute a total of 56,169 animals to 297 farmer groups and 470 individual farmers through the Philippine Native Animal Development Program. Alternative livelihood and technologies adaptive to climate change will also be provided to fishermen in Bicol, Central Visayas, and Zamboanga Peninsula. Laurel said the DA will entice more rice farmers to use alternative wetting and drying technology to save water. He added the technology has been successfully used by over 1.2 million farmers and implemented on 9,210 hectares of rice fields. About 17,660 hectares of rice fields have been targeted for the implementation of the quick turnaround strategy, wherein all rice farmers will immediately replant rice without waiting for months to take advantage of the remaining moisture in the soil. The Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation has been tasked to indemnify affected farmers, and between June and November of last year has insured 1.27 million farmers, around 76% of the target group. It has set aside 1.8 billion pesos to insure a total of 916,759 farmers and fishermen between January and June of this year. It has also reserved 500 million pesos as credit support under its Survival and Recovery Loan Program of the Agriculture Credit Policy Council for some 20,000 borrowers who may be affected by calamities including the El Nino phenomenon.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, an official of the Philippine Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, assured ready assistance to jeepney drivers who may be affected by the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program, or PUVMP, this year. DSWD Program Management Bureau, or PMB Director Miramel Laksa said the affected drivers may avail of the DSWD's programs and services for individuals in crisis situation. While the Assistance in Crisis Situation, or AICS program can assist the drivers, Laksa clarified that it would just be a one-time assistance. The AICS is among the programs of the DSWD that serves as a stopgap measure by providing immediate and temporary aid to individuals and families undergoing crisis based on the assessment of social workers. Laksa said it would be better if affected drivers could also be considered for livelihood programs and grants being offered by other government agencies. She also emphasized the need for the provision of sustainable services and programs to help them cope with the possible loss of their jobs. The PUVMP seeks to replace old PUVs, including traditional jeepneys, with modern ones beginning January 2024.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, the national government subsidies for government-owned and controlled corporations, or GOCCs, amounted to 153 billion pesos from January to November of last year. Data from the Bureau of the Treasury, or BTR, showed that the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, also known as PhilHealth, was the biggest recipient of the budgetary support, amounting to 50.7 billion pesos. The National Irrigation Administration, or NIA, was second on the list with 38.4 billion pesos. The National Housing Authority came in third with subsidies amounting to 17.8 billion pesos. Other top recipient GOCCs are the National Food Authority, or NFA, with 9.7 billion pesos, Power Sector Assets and Liabilities Management Corporation with 5 billion pesos, Philippine Crop Insurance Corporation with 4.6 billion pesos, Philippine Fisheries Development Authority with 3.3 billion pesos, and the Bases Conversion and Development Authority with 2.9 billion pesos. For November 2023 alone, subsidies to GOCCs went up to 6.7 billion pesos from the previous year's 6.1 billion pesos. The NIA received the biggest subsidy amounting to 2.5 billion pesos, followed by the NFA with 2.5 billion pesos as well.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippines added 2 new free trade agreements or FTAs this year, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership or RCEP, and its trade pact with South Korea to ease barriers to trade and investments and boost commercial ties among partners. RCEP entered into force in the Philippines on June 2 following the Senate's concurrence on February 21, 2 years after the participating countries, 10 ASEAN member states and FTA partners China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand concluded the negotiations in November 2020. National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA Secretary Arsenio Balisacan said the RCEP as another engine for the country's economic growth. RCEP participating countries account for 1/3 of the world's population and economy, making it the largest FTA in the world. Balisacan refuted claims that RCEP will only allow the influx of agricultural products into the country, as only 15 agricultural commodity groups out of 33 tariff lines have tariff reduction. According to NEDA, only 1.9% of the 1,718 agricultural lines and only 0.8% of the total agricultural exports or imports rather have tariff reduction under RCEP. Department of Trade and Industry or DTI Secretary Alfredo Pascual, on the other hand, encouraged Filipino exporters, especially micro, small, and medium enterprises or MSMEs, to take advantage of the Regional Trade Pact. The country then welcomed another bilateral FTA as it signed the deal with South Korea on September 7. The Philippines-South Korea FTA is the country's third bilateral trade pact after the Philippines-Japan Economic Partnership Agreement in 2006 and the European Free Trade Association or Association in 2016. Manila and Seoul initiated the bilateral FTA in June 2019. While Seoul requested lower tariffs for automotive vehicles and auto parts entering the Philippine market, Manila negotiated to eliminate tariff for bananas and other tropical fruits entering South Korea. Within 5 years from the implementation of the PH South Korea FTA, Philippine bananas entering the Korean borders will have zero tariff. It will help the sagging banana industry as it loses market share in South Korea to Vietnam, Ecuador, Colombia, and Peru, which have free market access to the East Asian country. Philippine banana is currently entering the South Korean market at 30%. Earlier, the Department of Foreign Affairs said the Philippines-South Korea FTA will be classified as a treaty which will be ratified by the President and concurred by the Senate. South Korean Ambassador to the Philippines Lee Sang-hwa also assured the country that the Korean government will soon ratify its FTA with the country. On July 31, European Commission or EC President Ursula von der Leyen visited Manila, the first EC head to officially visit the Philippines. She announced that the European Union or EU and the Philippines will resume formal discussions for a bilateral FTA, with negotiations being eyed in 2024. Both parties already had formal talks in Brussels, Belgium in 2016 and in Cebu province in 2017. It is noted that European businesses in the Philippines have been calling for the resumption of the FTA negotiations as this will provide stable trading and investment conditions. Another FTA that DTI is negotiating is the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement or CEPA with the United Arab Emirates or UAE. On December 2, Manila and Abu Dhabi signed the Terms of Reference or TOR or the scope for negotiations for the said CEPA. In 2022, exports of other parts of airplanes or helicopters to the UAE recorded the highest jump with growth of 122.97%. UAE Minister of State for Foreign Trade Dr. Thani bin Ahmed Al Zayudi, when he visited Manila in November, told the Philippine News Agency that the UAE aims to hasten negotiations for CEPA to start the free trade deal with the country the soonest possible time. Al Zayudi added that the UAE usually negotiates FTAs in a span of 6 months. He said UAE targets bilateral trade through the Philippines to grow fivefold through the CEPA.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Bureau of Immigration or BI is allowing registered foreign nationals in the country to accomplish their annual report virtually. According to BI Commissioner Norman Tansinco, foreigners who are living or working in the country are now allowed to register online during the annual report period in the first quarter of the year. Applicants who wish to report virtually are required to visit the BI's online services website at e-services.immigration.gov.ph to set up their appointment. Tansinco said the virtual annual report is one of the innovations of the agency which aims to modernize its laws and processes. Registered foreign nationals are required by law to personally report to the BI within the first 60 days of the year, presenting necessary documents for the annual report. Aside from the online platform, foreign nationals may also personally report to 2 malls in Metro Manila and other BI offices nationwide for their 2024 annual report. The physical annual report for the BI's head office in Manila will be conducted at the 3rd level center atrium of Robinsons Manila and the Government Service Express or GSE unit of SM Mall of Asia from Mondays to Fridays, excluding holidays, between 9 in the morning and 6 in the evening. The Bureau has outlined specific requirements including a completely filled out online registration accessible via the BI's e-services website. Foreign nationals must present their original valid alien certificate with registration or Certificate of Registration Identity Card, also known as ACRI card, with valid visas along with a valid passport. Exempted from physically reporting to the BI are foreign nationals who are below 14 years old, those who are 60 years old and above, those mentally or physically incapacitated, pregnant women, and foreigners with medical conditions.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, 3 parcels containing suspected shabu valued at more than 100 million pesos were recently seized by the Philippine Bureau of Customs or BOC in Clark, Pampanga. According to District Collector Erastus Sandino, Austria, the illegal drugs with an estimated street value of 103,113,600 pesos were initially marked suspicious by the port's X-ray inspection project. The parcels, declared as brochures from Texas, Pennsylvania, and Illinois, the United States, arrived on December 18 and underwent through inspection. They were later found to contain plastic pouches containing crystalline materials suspected to be shabu. A chemical laboratory analysis conducted by the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA confirmed that the substances were indeed shabu, a dangerous drug under Republic Act or RA 9165 or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Austria has issued warrants of seizure and detention against the shipments for violation of RA 10863 or the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act in connection with RA 9165. BOC Commissioner Bienvenido Rubio, meanwhile, vowed to continue to partner with law enforcement agencies to stop the entry of illegal drugs into the country.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that concludes today's edition of Dateline Malacañang. Don't forget to follow the social media accounts of Radyo Pilipinas World Service for important news updates. This has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.